think a natural reaction to the past week, to everything that's been going on, to the arrival of pain and fear and frustration and tragedy on our doorstep, is to look around and look up and ask why. What kind of creator would create a world like this, where a virus has the capability to run our countries ragged, to put the world on pause, to take every plan that we made and to cancel them? Why? Why give the virus that kind of power? Why create a world where this exists? And of course you have some people that say there's no why, it's random. You know, this is just the way the world is. But I think that that kind of perspective really leaves a lot lacking and fails to convey the opportunity that exists in this moment. And the analogy that I keep coming to is the analogy in the Torah of God as Abinu Shebashamayim, our Father in heaven. We all know a spoiled young girl. You know, maybe she's 16 years old and she's always had everything that she wanted. Her father, in his love for her, has bought her everything, has treated her with so much care and love, and has made the world this place of almost eternal bliss. But we know that girl. Is she living in some type of utopia? You know, usually that girl has as many challenges as the rest of us, and she'll create them in her mind almost. You know, there's not enough real drama, there's no fear for her life, for her safety, and so she'll start thinking about what she has and what she needs, and, you know, what people don't like her and what people like her, and they'll start forming cliques. You know, maybe even she'll mock the girl who has less than her and make her feel less than her. And why is she doing that? She wasn't a bad person. She was just a young girl. And even in her relationship with her father, this person who had blessed her with everything, who loved her unconditionally, she can't really find the time or the ability to love him in the way that he deserves. She's snippy with him. She'll ignore him. And who is the victim there? Is it her fault? I think that the Nimshal is very relevant and very clear. You know, you have God as our Father in heaven. And for the first 28 years of my life, you know, in his unconditional love for me, he's pampered me, he's put me in this gorgeous world. I mean, a world where even if you stare at one tree, you know, that's enough to fill you with fascination and awe. And over the last 28 years, it's been times of complete peace, almost in my, you know, there's been 9/11 we had the stock market recession, but for the most part, I live in a country of freedom, surrounded by those, my community, those that love me, you know, and it's been really absolutely incredible. But have we been happy? Have you been completely happy by this incredible life that you've lived? You know, you think back to a week ago, we had all the challenges that we constructed, the drama that we manufactured. You know, we were worried about our financial stability, and rightfully so. We were, you know, created these divides between us and our neighbor because we were more religious, or they were more religious, or they judged us and we judged them. And even look in our country, I mean, we live in an incredible time of prosperity, and yet is everyone in America happy? You know, you have divisiveness and hate. And I think that God looks down and he wants to give us everything. He wants to continue to bless us. But in his love for us, just like a father who truly loves his daughter, he's forced to impose boundaries, to impose consequences, to impose challenge. And this challenge is not out of spite. It's not to spite us. But it's because his love was depriving us from being all that we could be. I mean, think of that young girl. She was capable of so much more. In the right situation, she would die for her family, for her loved ones. She would undergo any burden to protect those that she loved and to lift up those around her. The very girl that she's mocking in class, she would have, in a certain situation, do anything to help. And I think that we were very, very similar. You know, we were so much more than the people that we were 2 weeks ago. We were capable of so much more. And I think that started to become clear. You see the mothers who went from working to working and being home with their children all day and stocking their houses and being on top of their homework in 3 days. You see the teachers who went from going into school for an hour or two to researching online lessons day and night to entertain the children. You see the children who went from having a wonderful life to having a life that's much more subtle, much more slow-paced, but still doing it with a smile. SBH says that volunteers are up as they always are during crises. I'm sure that if you look inside, you recognize that you want to help people in a way that you didn't even realize you wanted to yesterday. We have a challenging 2 months ahead. And it's very easy to look at ourselves as victims, to look up at God and cry, why? Why are you doing this to us? Why is there so much pain? Why do we have to cancel our parties? Why do we have to give up all of these things that we loved? Why do we have to stop our lives? Why? And it's understandable and it's okay. But I think beyond that, there's room for you to step up. There's room for you to look around at those in pain and to recognize that desire in yourselves to help them. To sacrifice the things that you want just to keep others safe. And I think that we have to recognize that while this is painful and it's tragic, it really is an opportunity. And it really was done to us in love. To wake us up. To remind us about what matters, to remind us about how much we love one another, and how much we would do for one another. So I have a lot more thoughts. I could talk a little bit more about what I think you could do, how I think you should be involved. But this is the starting point, just to understand that we're all losing things. It's frustrating for us all. But that this really is, for every door that is closed, 100 doors have opened for us to step up, for us to be there for others. And I look forward to being there along with you, growing together, working to make our community safer, and working to make this world a better place.